Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Nav and I'm a YouTuber. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the story, a real story of how the Seventh-day Adventist truth came into my village, Parasu and Bagri. The Adventist truth in Bagri and Parasu, revealed through dreams. Now, circa the end of 1800, late Prabhu Sahay Topno, also known as Parau, came to settle down in this little village called Bagri, also sometimes called as Poshbera. While he was in this village, he was shown a dream. He was given this peculiar dream or a vision which he could not believe was something happening to him. He initially tried to ignore this dream and he wanted to forget about it. However, the dream kept on repeating night after night every time he went to bed, until he became a little anxious, because when a dream is being given to you, shown to you continuously, repeatedly, night after night, there must be something. So here is the dream. There is a white man. He sees a white man beside a white building, standing with a picture roll hanging from a tree, and he is preaching to a group of people or to a group of listeners. And this entire thing is happening. This entire event is taking place somewhere near the railway line of Ranchi. And this white man was preaching about the fourth commandment. Now, there were all kinds of people gathered together, sitting and listening to him as he was preaching. And then he notices Parau, late Prabhu Sahay Topno, and he beckons him to come and join. So that was the dream. So this short dream kept on repeating every night as late Prabhu Sahay Topno went to sleep. And then he began to get restless. He became very anxious. So now he would not sit back and relax, because his restlessness would not allow him to do so. So he or Parau, Prabhu Sahay Topno, he went and talked to his brother. His brother's name was Yakub Topno, late Mr. Yakub Topno, and two of his close associates. Prabhu Sahay Topno had a Lutheran background, hence he was not very much proficient about the Ten Commandments. He was not very much knowledgeable about the Ten Commandments. And here, this white man, this preacher, was specifically stressing more on the fourth commandment, which had to do with Sabbath keeping or Sabbath observance. So he talked to his brother, Yakub Topno, and his two other very close friends, Matthias Nag from a village called Lupundi, and Nehemiah Mundu from another nearby village called Jilinkela. Jilinkela, well, is not so close by. It's at least a couple of mountains across. But they were close associates, and so these four members, they sat together and they talked on this special dream. You call it dream or you call it a vision. And by now, they were quite eager to go and visit Ranchi and find this man. Or Prabhu Sahay Topno wanted to pursue his dream and make it into a reality. So Prabhu Sahay Topno, Yakub Topno, Matthias Nag from Lupundi, Nehemiah Mundu from Jilinkela, these four got together and they prepared for the journey. They wanted to find this white man, who this white man was. So one fine day, they packed some food. It was that basi bhat in a little pot. Basi bhat might seem a little strange to you, but basi bhat is mostly eaten in states like Orissa and Jharkhand, where the summers are very hot. So the basi bhat is nothing but the normal rice which after being cooked would be dipped into a fresh water and stored there. So the rice does not spoil. However, the rice stays for a longer period, for 2 to 3 days or even more, in the water, in the fresh water, and it remains cool. So during hot summers, since we do not have any refrigerators to have cold food, they would normally eat this cold food, which is called the basi bhat. So they pack this food and they set off on the journey. Now it was a 3 days journey on foot, because those days hardly any conveyance was available. So they walked for 3 days until they reached Ranchi. They reached Ranchi railway station, and then they began to search. They began to search and look around for this, as it was shown to him in the dream. And after reaching there, to their surprise, they spotted that white building which they had been looking for. And next to the white building, there was this white man standing under a tree, exactly the way it was shown to late Mr. Prabhu Sahay Topno in his dream. And hanging from the tree was a picture roll, and this white man was preaching to a group of people seated in front of him. So initially they were a bit timid, or they were a bit reluctant to get any closer. So they stood afar off and they began to watch. And as they were watching this white man preach, the white man seems to notice them, and so he turned towards them and he beckoned them to asking them to come and join the class. So they came in and they joined in. And after the meeting, the white man invited them to his house, and he showed some Christian hospitality. And in his house they talked for hours, and they also discussed the dream or vision Prabhu Sahay Topno had, and the white man gave them a complete Bible study. So this white man that I'm talking about, I'm referring to none other than Pastor Luther Burgess. So Pastor Luther Burgess gave them complete Bible study. He gave Bible study to Prabhu Sahay Topno, to Yakub Topno, to Matthias Nag, and Nehemiah Mundu. Now Prabhu Sahay Topno almost instantly was convinced, and with the conviction he said, "My dear brothers and friends, I am fully convicted that I want to start following the Seventh-day Adventist truth, and I want to keep the Sabbath." And immediately after, all the rest in that little group, his brother Yakub Topno, his friends or his close associates Nehemiah and Matthias, at once echoed that they were also convinced and they wanted to start following the Sabbath observance. And they returned to their homes happily. And Pastor Luther Burgess promised them that he would soon visit their village, Bagri-Parasu, and he would spend time with them. And he promised them that he would explain to them or teach them more about Sabbath observance. And so according to his word, during the early 1900s, Pastor Luther Burgess visited the Bagri village and stayed there for a couple of days, giving these men an in-depth Bible study. And so, as a result, the Nag family, the Topno family, along with 30 other souls, were baptized into Seventh-day Adventist Church. And thus, that was the beginning of Seventh-day Adventist Church in Bagri and Parasu. And so Bagri became the mother church of all the other sister churches across Jharkhand. So Mr. Prabhu Sahay Topno donated about 2 acres of his land for the church building, and a beautiful church was constructed there. So that became the first ever Seventh-day Adventist church in the whole of Jharkhand. And from there, it spread out, it grew, the membership grew, and the message or the gospel reached to every other nook and cranny. And also Jilinkela, there were so many members from Jilinkela that got baptized into the church. So to name a few, let me read from the list of sister churches apart. The list of churches: Satikel, Kunti School Church, Ronhe, Rania, Chirubeda, Tonia, Dongapani, Karamundu, Boronda, Rangamati, Silda, Jilinkela, Balgi, Sakoi, Bandatola, Konsab, Kocha, Jalmari, Bonda, Randukundu, Bagma, Kiriburu, Yurimai, Pahadi, Kusumdi, Gatidash, Barbera, Tati, Baribeda, Soromba, Gundui, Champaba, Siankel, Dudur, Salkin, Hindumkumdi, Kotanger, Toda, Kudlata, Chitung, Redsud, Sahikata, Kuituka, Chotauli, Sanada, Holanguli, Merongutu, Topping Sara, Chondor, Dadibeda, Biriam, Kasera, Karmapani, Jagu, Jomtai, Dakarmunda, and so on and so forth in the Munda spoken regions of Jharkhand. And also the Adventist mission, the Adventist truth spread out like wildfire into other areas apart from the Munda speaking regions, also into the Urao spoken language areas. And as a result, there were many churches in the Urao language regions built or organized, namely Kurgi, Arangi, Kochidega, Birkerak, Mekluskigan, Gumla, Hesalom, Dhaura, Honhe, Rudmurtia, Nawadi, Edelhatu, Barihatu, Korkai, and Chorle. So ever since Bagri Church has produced many active evangelists and pastors who have been actively ministering to many parts of Jharkhand and even out of India. Pastor Nelson Topno, or James Nelson Topno, the grandson of Parau, became a very well-known minister in the Munda spoken regions of Jharkhand. He refused the secretarial position in the then East India section in 1998 because he wanted to focus more on the physical needs, the physical aspects, or the urgent requirement, because he had to preach the gospel. He had to travel extensively so that he could reach out to maximum people. So he refused that position which was given to him in East India section in 1998, and he wanted to carry the gospel mission to other parts of Jharkhand, to Kolkata and to Assam areas. Now there was a time where there were barely about 6 organized churches in these regions. After the relentless efforts by James Nelson Topno, or Pastor James Nelson Topno, the numbers grew exponentially, and it resulted in about 60 organized churches altogether in the region. Now, prominent names today, like Pastor Alex Dan, Pastor Simurmu, Pastor Ezras Lakra, were all trained under Pastor James Nelson Topno in Assam, and today they have been actively involved in carrying the gospel mission, and they have been very instrumental in the furtherance of the gospel ministry. Pastor Peter Mundu from Jilinkela worked in various capacities in the church, also as the union department director, also the president of Madhya Bharat, Jaipur, and missionary to the Fiji Islands, Australia. Now, Dr. Ashley Kongari today, the grandson of Parau, happens to be the first literature evangelist to the regions of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. and is presently ministering in the Scandinavian areas in Europe as the president of Teach International Association, Finland. And ever since, there have been many evangelists, many pastors who have been, many gospel ministers who have been ministering actively in this area. And today, as we look back, the gospel ministry has penetrated into many pockets of the Munda speaking regions in Jharkhand, and also the Ural speaking regions in Jharkhand, also in Assam and West Bengal. And as a result, today Jharkhand happens to be among the fastest growing fields in the West Jharkhand section, under the leadership of Pastor Alex Dan. And all this as a result of the active involvement of Bagri Church, the humble origins at Bagri Church. And today we look forward to more and more growth and development to these regions, to these ministries in the field. The story was contributed by Yakub Topno, elder, Mr. Sahay Topno, the grandson of Parau, Bagri Church. So that's the story of Seventh-day Adventist Church in Bagri-Parasu-Jilinkela, presented to you by NAF. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.